Hey butterflies, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Ruby. So today I'm going to be having a little bit of a mind dump, free flow. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going type of video because I have been wanting to talk about King in Black for so freaking long and it's just time, it's just time. So this is the only way it's going to get done at this point. And I feel like this is the best introductory video to the King in Black anyways. So someone had requested for me to do King in Black a couple months ago, and I'm going to get into why it's been such a prolonged process. But let me start off by saying that the King in Black is representative of chaos as a primordial reality. So we're talking about chaos versus cosmos. And when I'm saying primordial realities, I'm talking about the essence of light and dark in the most macro way, in the most cosmic view possible. And it's so expansive and incomprehensible to our human minds that we have to break it down into light and dark, or masculine and feminine, or all these like analogies and concepts so that our minds can really grasp in some way what is chaos versus cosmos. Okay, so any battle that's between hero versus villain, good versus bad, anything that's a duality, anything that's an opposing view and fights, it can all be traced back to the macro of chaos versus cosmos. We are a micro reflection of chaos versus cosmos because we have both those realities within us. And that's why we're constantly having battles, right? Because these are two eternally opposing forces that are forever intertwined in battle, or even in union in a way, if you really think about it. So when I'm talking about the King in Black, we're talking about chaos. We're talking about the void, the infinite, the nothingness, the dark mother that's referred to in a lot of deities, even Atum as the creative inertia, the creative center, the cosmic womb chakra that's related to us. These are all subjects that are related to the subject of chaos that's reflected in the King in Black as well. So as much as the King in Black is a reflection of the void, he is not the void itself. He's only a portion of what can be expressed as the void. So because this topic is so expansive and there's so many directions to go in, I was very overwhelmed with where to start. And there is a lot of truth to how I felt about that. But I eventually had to accept and realize the underlying truth about why I wasn't doing these videos. And, usually I don't talk about personal stories, but if I feel like it's something that you guys can benefit from just off the fact that you're not the only one going through it, or that we can connect with these things and resonate off of each other, I feel like that's very helpful in these situations with certain things. And I feel this is one of those things. That's why I wanted to start off this video free flowing and rambling so that I could just connect with you guys and let you guys know what's on my mind. And usually I would never ramble about why I haven't been on, but this one I feel is very important because I think a lot of people at this moment in time are going through a lot of inner work, a lot of isolation. We're going through similar things in different forms and we just don't realize it. And then we look at how other people are handling things and we think everyone's doing well, yada, yada, yada. So to get back to the point, the reason why I really have not been doing the King in Black is because the King in Black, we're talking about darkness, we're talking about feeling, and these are things that I talk about all the damn time, right? Feel your feelings, mental health, love, 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 love. And if you guys follow me on really anywhere, especially my YouTube channel, I'm so cheesy. I'm always talking about love. You guys know my intentions are always to spread awareness, good vibration, just anything positive in some form, right? And people who don't know me, it's easy to look at my social media, to look at how I speak on or listen to how I speak and just think that I have a handle on things, or that I'm doing really well and I'm feeling my feelings and I'm doing all this vulnerability stuff. And I'm on my path and I'm doing my thing, but at the same time, the reason why I haven't done the video is because I do continue to feed into things that prevent me from fully feeling my feelings and being fully present. This means emotional exhaustion and numbness, and that doesn't necessarily mean savage behavior and being an asshole and being like, I'm numb, fuck everyone, right? Because obviously I'm not on all that. And I do believe that we all experience the same emotions in some form, just on different levels. And so that applies to empathy, that applies to emotional exhaustion and numbness. And for me, it's been a paradox. I obviously care very deeply for humanity. I think even the little interactions matter. I think that every little interaction creates a ripple effect, and we do affect change in our intermediate environment with every single person. I deeply believe that, but at the same time, there's a part of me that has been very detached to the world and very indifferent somehow at the same time. And it's been very tough, And I say all this to say I don't like opening up about these types of things, but I feel it's very important because there have been a few people that reached out to me, and I love a compliment. I love feeling like you guys think I have my shit together, and I so fucking appreciate it, especially when it's positive. Like, come on, there's not a lot of people. I'm a small YouTuber, so of course I don't have a lot of messages when it comes to my video specifically and how it impacts you guys. And I appreciate every single message. And when it comes to how I present myself, just how I'm so freaking cheesy all the time, right? Some people think that comes very naturally or easily, or I just have it all together. And the point is, I don't. The point is that people have said this time and time again, don't believe what you see on social media. We only show the best versions of ourselves, or even just a portion of ourselves. Not to say that what I present myself to be is not accurate or true, but it's just one part of myself, one side. I have a whole other, just like you do, just like everyone, right? We have so many different aspects and sides to us. Do not ever compare yourself and think that so many people have their shit together, because no one does. I firmly believe that nobody has their shit together fully ever, and I just don't believe it. Just through experience alone, when you do meet somebody that have their shit together, when you get to know them, you start to realize all the other aspects that they need to balance out within their own life. We're all equally going through our ups and downs constantly because that's just the flow of life. So it's just no point in comparing yourself, but it's easy to, especially on social media and these things where everyone portrays themselves to be a certain way. So I say all this to say, this is a video about resignation, to let you guys know what I'm going through a little bit, just so you guys know if you're feeling exhaustion, emotional exhaustion and numbness, that you're not going through it alone. It just seems like it's surprising to some people because of how quote unquote loving I guess I am, and how I am always talking about the heart space, because I believe what I'm talking about. I truly do. But I also cannot help that, I have the human side of me that's going through this other internal battle. And as much as I'm trying to spread love and awareness, I'm also doing it for myself. It's a reminder to myself. It's a healing process for me, which is why there's such a large delay and gap time between when I release videos, because every time I go to do a topic, I feel like I'm not even ready to speak on it yet, even though I have so much to say. There's a lot of just back end work going on. Okay, so I don't want to get too deep into it. I just want to make sure you guys knew what happened in The King in Black and how I got swallowed in my own void trying to speak about the void. Okay. And that's exactly what The King in Black does to you, okay? That's exactly what the internal darkness does to us, because we don't want to face it. We will come up with 1,000,001 excuses, right? This entire time, I kept trying to tell myself that it's because I'm overwhelmed with all the things that I can say, because it is such an expansive topic, which is very true. But the reality of it was that I was using it as an excuse to not do the videos. And so I had to dig deeper and finally admit to myself and confess that I just didn't want to face my internal darkness, my internal void. That's just a surface level of something that I'm sharing with you guys. And even beyond that, there's even more subconscious things to deal with and even more awareness to awaken to, right? There's always a little bit more, isn't there? I didn't want to get into too much. I just wanted to let you guys know where my head was at. Have a little bit of a connection and resonation. One of the most important things right now for us to stay connected to each other. And don't forget that we have each other. We're not alone, even though it feels like it. Even when we have people in our intermediate life that love us and we know that love us, it can still feel very lonely. And that's just part of the journey. Sometimes we're so individualistic, even though we are one. It's another paradox that we just have to accept. We are all one, but at the same time, we are individuals. We have our own ego. We have our own identity that we have to come into our own, and make sure we're not comparing ourselves to other and seeing how other people are doing things. And that's the main reason why I wanted to do this video, because as much as I love, like I said, you guys, I love a good compliment, but I do not ever want you guys to put me on a pedestal, because I want you guys to put yourself on that pedestal. Because what you guys see in me, I'm sure you guys have heard this phrase that we are a reflection of each other. All the good that you see in me, you see in yourself, especially if you feel it heavily. If you guys resonate with me on such a level, if you guys are so captivated by me, however you feel in a very positive light, that's something that you have within yourself, that your soul is recognizing, okay? And this is not something that I'm saying to be cheesy. I truly fucking mean this. I truly believe it. Your soul is recognizing something that you have within yourself that wants to come out in your own form, in your own way. And that's why it's so important to never compare as well. as amazing it is to be inspired and motivated by other people in our community, which is why community is also so important. I just heard a quote this week actually that ties into this, I feel fits perfectly. It said, "Give your attention to people who pull out the magic in us and not the madness." Give your attention to people who pull out the magic in you and not the madness. And that really needs to be a mantra for a lot of us. It definitely has been for me. And that really started with myself, actually. I needed to pull out the magic within myself and stop pulling out the madness. Just like self-love is the foundation, that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? We have to start with ourselves and make sure we're not trying to pull out our own madness and darkness all the time to the point where we're depleting the magic, right? Everything is balanced. Like we always say, light and dark. And especially when it comes to the healing process and shadow work and just all these dark topics, the topic of the void, the king in black, this expansive nothingness, it's just so it's endless, you guys. We're humans. We are always motherfucking healing. Something is always happening. And especially if you've gone through periods of darkness that are very severe, you know, we all have different levels of trauma. We all have light and darkness, of course, right? So, of course, we all experience darkness, but there are different levels. And these traumas can really have us feeling like we're so alone in this and we're never going to get through this. And we really have to heal, heal, heal. And that's very true, of course, as well. We do have to take time for ourselves to heal. I know I have been for a long, long time. And, you know, I kind of had to get to a point where I had to accept like, hey, I need to have fun. I need to stop healing and healing and healing and healing when actually I've done a lot of healing and maybe I am healed and maybe I just think I need to keep healing. You know, the mind plays a lot of tricks and sometimes the simple act of acceptance of where you are at in the present moment, it can cause major transformations and shifts because a lot of our suffering has to do with past memories or future fears. Being in the present moment is so beneficial for us because there's an aspect to it that's saying we're accepting the present moment without the influences of the past or the future weighing down on us in any type of form. There is one last thing that's been on my mind that I wanted to add in before I go, and this paradox has been on my mind. Even though we are one, we are individuals. As much as we want to be connected and resonate, which is why I'm doing this video, I also want you guys to know that we're different, and that's why you shouldn't compare yourself to anybody else, no matter how much you resonate with them, because the best version of you is you. There is no one fucking better that you can be than literally, literally you, okay? Something I've noticed in people in general is that people love to see the differences in each other before we see the similarities. To the point where if someone pointed out the similarities, the person that wants to see the differences will go out of their way to do something that shows the differences. Versus the similarities, you know what I mean? And I say all that to say it's important for us to see where we're connected, where we're similar, where we can resonate, because that's important. We're meant to connect. You know, we're humans. That's what we're here to do. But there's also another part of us that's an individual that has our own ego. And that part of us says, hey, I'm this person on my own. I'm nothing like you because I'm this. And it's like, yeah, we're fucking both. Okay. Can you relax? We've been saying this all the time, okay? And this is why let's bring it back to chaos versus cosmos, okay? You are both. You are both chaos and cosmos. She is both chaos and cosmos. He is, I am, every motherfucking buddy. The universe is. The concept sounds like cosmos is the cosmic one because it's the light and chaos is not. But no, chaos is cosmic as well. They're both divine. They're both divine realities. It's a hard thing for people to admit that you feel lonely, that you don't feel understood, like we're not meant to be here or that we don't belong here. And we all go through those feelings, but it's hard to fucking admit. So I just want you to know you are not alone. Thank you for tuning in, butterflies. Stay flying free and I'll see you next time.